Hi folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. I just got off the phone with just a great friend of mine, Rocky Rockwell, a Green Beret, a person of such breadth of knowledge and life experience. But I talk to him about fishing down in the Salmon River because he guides down there. And I wanted to pass on, even though a lot of us don't get down there, I want to pass on some of the things that he told me today. I said, tell me, Rocky, what is the situation right now in the river? He says, well, right now the Salmon River is high, but he said the steelhead have started to spawn. And he said of the whole time of the year, this is sort of the key time if people want to enjoy this type of fishing. And so then I went on to ask him why. And this is why I wanted to talk to all of you folks about this today, because there's so much in what he told me that I think applies to fishing in general, no matter what we're fishing for. He said, well, the steelhead are starting to spawn. And when they spawn, they lose a third of their body weight. It takes a tremendous amount out of them. So after that, they become voracious. They have to feed. They have to rebuild their body, and they start feeding on all kinds of stuff. And he said the really interesting thing is, and the great thing for the steelhead is, that the Salmon River is full of food. There's all kinds of different types of food there that they can take advantage of. He said, but right now, the pattern that works the best for him, especially if the night's been cold and it's clear and then it starts to warm up and it gets into the 40s during the day. He says he uses a little angleworm. I think he calls it the San Juan fly. And the fly itself resembles a little worm in the water. And he said this can be just a terrific bait right now. But here is the other important thing that he said to me. He said, presentation is far more important than pattern. In other words, how you take whatever you're using and allow it to be seen in the water. And what really becomes important is that it drift freely, so it looks like something natural to these steelhead. And, as hungry as they are, they're still going to be very, very discriminating, as all fish have to be to survive. And he says, so having it drift normally down through the water is such a key point. I find this so fascinating because what it tells us is that every kind of fish will go through the same type of sort of patterned environmental behavior. When any fish spawns, they go through a change in their whole bodies. They go through a change in how they react. And so we hear so often about pre-spawn and post-spawn fish and how to fish for them. And in that case, it's particularly bass. But I think this was really important to learn. Here's the other thing I want you all to be aware of. This fishery of trout coming in from Lake Ontario to the tributaries is something so special. We take anything that's around us for granted after a while. It's just the way human beings are. But for people living in other areas, the chance of catching one of these magnificent trout or salmon that come in from Lake Ontario is something that becomes a bucket list. It becomes something they plan their vacations around. And I think especially for the people that live in the region of the Oswego River and the Salmon River, this becomes really important to realize the gem that they hold. And it's the same for us along the St. Lawrence River. The gem that we have are incredibly big and ever-growing bigger smallmouth bass. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.